Hello, everybody. Welcome to the World Drone Community Show, Season 2, Episode 1. Al, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing fine, Robbie. I'm laughing
Looks
because
like it looks like you're in the dark.
I am a bit in the dark, right? Let me fix that. Let's see. Maybe that'll work. I am. I'm not sure what's going on with my lighting.
Yeah. Well,
Let's
hey, look,
see.
guys. I wanted to
Oh.
pop. Yeah, that's better. Turn it the other way, Al, because it gave more light. That's a little better. Yeah, it's kind of dark. You may need to turn a light on. Honestly, I can't see
I
past
can't
your
see
head.
me. I don't know what I just did. Excuse me. Let me
Turn it
just.
again.
Yeah, I will turn it again. Oh gosh, come on. I'm just gonna take the filter off because I just messed up
Okay,
all my settings. And I'm
that's
still kind of
better. It's
dark.
it's still dark. Turn a light
Yeah,
on.
I do have my light on. I just have to, didn't fiddle with my settings right. So I
It's okay.
apologize,
I
Robbie.
can see you better now that it was on there. So anyway,
Yeah.
what I was saying, we wanted to apologize. We didn't have a show last week. Since I've been in Tyler, we've had Christmas, New Year's, which my fiance and her family, we all went to the beach somewhere. So I've not really been able to really do anything, and I've had to run up to the city and back, which is like if you get it at the wrong time, you might spend 5 or 6 hours driving because there's so much traffic. So we've just been so busy trying to get paperwork done and everything with me living here and immigration.
Hmm.
It was just too much for me to do. I mean, I've been, if y'all have seen, I posted a ton of stuff on Facebook because it's the only thing I can do is throw basic stuff up. But we're here tonight, and Ron Brown's having dinner, I guess. So he's going to be on about 7:30 with us. So just want to see who we got in here and the thing. We got Ray Kelly, John Bonifant. Who else we got?
Fly Guy Merrill's here.
Yeah,
TJ Giggles and Drones is here.
yeah. Drone Flyer, Johnny.
So, yeah, thanks for joining, guys. So, I hear you've been flying around on a nice little drone. Which one have you been flying around there lately? I
Well,
mean,
I've been flying this little one, which a lot of people have done reviews on this one. I've not really had time to do a lot other than just some flying. I've seen other people's videos. I know Marcus is having an issue or was having an issue with the jello on it. And I was having the same thing, but I was told that the firmware is going to fix that issue. So if you're thinking about sending it back, wait until they get, the next firmware update and that they're working on that problem. They do know that the problem exists. And let me explain to y'all how it works here in Thailand compared to how it works in the US. Thailand is dominated by DJI. It's like dealers will bring stuff to your house, they'll do anything. And I didn't understand why they were so eager to sell until I looked up the dealers. You can't see the map because there's so many dealers here that sell. So I was told that they're going to cut out the dealers and start doing stores here, like Apple did, where you just go into the store. So the service is really good through DJI here, but Autel has one dealer that controls the whole country, and he's in the city where everybody has to get to the airport. So I guess when they come shipped in, he gets them. And this guy is set up where you just call him and say, "Hey, here's what I want." You pay him with a QR code that you scan off an app we have here, and then when he gets it in, he'll bring it to you, he'll mail it, or you can go get it. Now my guy will do all three, but when my other drones came in, he said, "Hey, we'll mail them to you, this and that." I didn't want to do it, so I wanted to physically drive there and pick it up because I knew that something would mess up me getting the drone or a drone for that. So I know a lot of people have seen this little drone. The image is really good, the image quality, and I will show some of the footage I'm going to do it on Travel Tech 360, and probably next Monday on this, I'll show some video from the Nano Plus. And I like it. It's a good little drone, but Al knows I don't like minis very much. Al gave me a Spark when I first started, and we were at the James River in Richmond, and the wind caught it, and it blew it. And I said, "Al, my drone's going left, but I'm not flying it. It was the wind." So just because of the winds, I just never have felt comfortable. Now I've had the Mini and the Mini 2, and I'm just not big on it. So I'm not sure what my plan is with this particular drone here, because honestly, I've always felt comfortable with the Air 2, which was my primary drone. But I bought my Air 2S from Third Eye View. And honestly, it's probably one of my favorite drones because I feel safe and comfortable when I fly it. And the Mavic 3 I've flown, but I've not flown it over a lot of water yet. I've still got that fear of making sure there's no bugs in the firmware where it's going to fly off. So anyway, so this is the Nano Plus, and I know y'all probably already seen this, so I'm not going to really bore you with it. I will have a little boxing that I'll put on Travel Tech where y'all can see, and I answer some questions about the sensors and the different stuff on the actual drone. But since this one has been released and it's not like still super good news, thought what I would do. No, here's the controller for it. The controller's got some weight into it, and I notice it has fans in it, like the smart controllers does. So when you get this drone and you do the firmware update, make sure everything is charged because it is big. So that is the Nano. But I think what everybody probably wants to see is they want to see this one. This is the Autel Light Plus. And Mark Fisher, I told you it's my morning that I would have this where you could see it. And I put it on a post, and actually I saw it, Maddie saw it too, where I said I already have it here, and I would show it to you. So here it physically is in the box. I have opened it to look at the box to make sure the drone was in it because it was a little bit of a drive to pick it up. So what I'm going to do is, Al, should we open it and see what's in the box?
Yeah, of course, man. Let's crack it open. Go ahead and
Okay.
make yourself a very large screen so we can all see.
Okay. Yeah, y'all have to ignore my head. I don't have enough room because my desk is kind of small here. If I can just get to the screen that I need here. Sorry, guys, I'm having some technical issues here. Yeah, I can't get it. I can't get it to go full screen on me, Alan.
That's all right. You had a pretty large screen there. That's all right. This
Okay.
this
So I think I'm down probably as low as I can go for this. So let's actually open the box and see what it actually comes with. Uh, like I said, I have opened it to make sure the drone is in it. But other than that, I'm not really sure what else is in here. It's got a big bag, I'll say that. And it's got some weight to it. Okay, let's see what we got here. We've got our normal stuff, which are the quick start guides, the packing list, and what is this one? This is the quick start. Yeah, that's the quick start guide there. In our box, this is our accessory box. Oh, wow. ND filters.
very nice.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, very nice.
Okay. We got props. It's like a power cable in here. Yeah, that's all that's in the little accessory pack that we got. Ah, let's get to the beef of the subject here, the drone. Here's the charging block. It's really funny because everybody kind of copied the block just like the Air 2 has. This is for the instead of pushing down like the Air 2s, it hooks. Now this one is for the Nano.
You know, the
So I
one
don't
of
know if
my
I'm great.
favorites ones, Robbie. Sorry to step on you. My apologies.
Yeah,
It's the FPV. It's kind of like an XT30 with rubber siliconized, and you snap all the batteries into that
yeah,
the DJI FPV drone. Again, we're talking about DJI. You know, they just rule the
right.
market. I mean, it's just amazing how much they control the market. But looks like Autel's going to give it a run here, right?
Well, I don't know. It looks like this thing's got some beef to it. Wow, it's a lot bigger. So this would be for the Light Plus. So
Yeah.
let's pull out and take a look at this drone. Wow, this thing is a brick.
Yeah, it's definitely the competitor to the Air 2S, right? 1,500 bucks,
Wow.
maybe $2,000 right there.
Yeah,
And
this is it's in the I think Al, I'd have to calculate because when we paid for it in the money here, not US dollars. But I'm guessing it's about $1,600 right in that range. I'm gonna take the plastic off here. Let's open this thing up and take a look. Oh, so yeah, it does have carbon fiber arms on it. Wow, this thing is big.
do you estimate it's heavier or lighter than the Air 2S?
Let's see. Here is the Air 2S, and I can tell you just by picking it up right there, and I'll show you. I want to give you a size comparison between the Air 2S is here. It's much bigger drone than the Air 2S. Al, it's heavier. It's heavier.
It looks heavier. I mean, it's got a heavier
Yeah,
camera for sure. It's
yeah.
definitely
Yeah, it's actually it's bigger from camera to camera. It's probably an inch longer, but the weight itself, the bulk of it itself,
hmm
it is heavy. It is heavy. So that's the difference between the Air 2S and the Lite Plus. Let's take a look at this gimbal cover and actually look at the camera. Okay, wow, it's got like plastic everywhere on this thing. There we go. So it pops loose. Wow.
yeah. See that? So it looks like we lost Robbie's connection. So jump back in whenever you get a chance, Robbie. There we are.
I'm back. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the way that camera is. Let me see those sensors on the bottom again. So yeah,
Now he was trying the man the dealer was trying to explain to me on this particular drone. It's got a different type of sensor here, and
the
evidently the other drones use like they call it like a red light. It looks for red light in low light, and this does yellow. So it's supposed to do better in low light conditions. But this thing is just like it's a beast. I mean, it's really big. It's actually a big drone. Now let's compare it to the size of the Mavic 3 and see what the difference is from there. This is my new little cover I bought to go over the lens. It's just a little piece of plastic with a cushion on the inside to cover the lens. I found
looks
that
like
online over here. And
was that like heavy silicone or was it hard
yeah,
like
yeah. Well,
peel it?
actually,
Does it bend?
it's like a heavy rubber, Al, a
Yeah,
heavy rubber material that it's got, and it's got a
yeah,
little cushion on the inside, and it just pushes and hugs up over the actual camera itself. I
yeah.
guess, of course, to protect the lens. Okay, so here we got the Mavic 3, and here we got that. Wow, you know what? It's out end to end. It's really close. It's just barely shorter than the Mavic 3, but the size wise is like really big.
And what's the flight time on that, Robbie? Do you
This is
remember?
supposed to be, I think it said 40 minutes.
Dang, it's pretty
Let
good,
me
isn't it?
move this one. Oh, there we go. Sorry, guys. Yeah, this one's supposed to be 40 minutes, but I really like the arms.
Yeah,
But yeah,
no.
they sure wrap it in enough plastic. I will say, these are the first Autel drones that I've ever bought. I've either owned or flown most all the DJI drones. When I haven't owned, I've flown of yours, and I've always been really happy with it. I never thought I would go to another drone, and honestly, after getting this one, and like I said, I'm not a mini person. I'm not big on the minis. And it just, I don't know, they're so light, it's hard to tell that there's quality there as far as the weight's concerned. But when you get up to the bigger drone like this, you can tell it is well made and it looks like it's got a super camera.
hmm
So he was going to actually bring it here, but like I said, I was worried that that he might get late or not show up or something. I did want to have it to show you guys to let you see what it looked like. I know there's some people that have already done a couple little reviews, but I think it's mainly footage that I've seen. I wanted to see what the actual drone looked like. So the battery's in the back. Let's see if I can get this thing open here. Ooh, it's on there. The little one, the battery was like really difficult to get in and out. So this one actually slides. Here's the bottom of it, and it actually slides into place here. So it looks like it's got hooks where it hooks in those notches,
Yep, nice. They
and
don't
it
have a
actually
switch in
locks
there.
in.
Does it have a switch that lets you know that the battery's completely in its bay?
Well, when I locked it in, the green light came on. See,
Okay. Okay.
but I've never I haven't powered it on or anything yet. I haven't done it. I'll say with the Nano, when you first get it, charge it good because man, it took like seriously, it took like 35 minutes to do the firmware update. It took a long, long time. So I'm curious to see how long it's going to take to do the firmware on this one. So I really like it. I'm eager to fly it, and it's daytime here. You know, so when we're done and get everything done, I'm definitely gonna do my firmware updates and check everything and go out and give it a fly and see what it looks like. And the dealer wants me to compare the video and everything from this one to this one. Now, keep in mind, this has got a 6K camera on it, so it might have a little advantage over the Air 2S, but we'll see. We'll see what the actual images look like once I take them.
Yeah, I mean that's the price point in the ditch that they're trying to compete at, right? So they're definitely going to head with, even though it's got a larger battery and definitely larger airframe. I think that thing is going to be, if it definitely flies well, you don't have any Jello or Horizon issues. I mean, and that looks like a pretty good alternative to the Air 2S. It's kind of right between the Air 2S and the Mavic 3 in a sense, you
Yeah,
know?
you're right. It is. It is. It's right in that sweet spot between it. So he brags on it, and he has both. Now, I don't think he's actually has one, but I think I'm sure he's flown one working for Autel. But he says that it's better than the Air 2S. So we'll have to see if it'll prove it to me because this is like I never have issues with it. No firmware issues. Everything always works right. The Air 2S is just a solid drone that's always worked good. So I'm really curious to see how this actually works and actually how good it is.
Good, good, good. I'm glad to hear that. So, have you had a chance to actually fly the little Nano Plus? You got the? Did you get the Nano Plus Pro
I've got the Nano Plus Premium Pack is
Premium?
what they call it here
So it's
is the
like a
Premium Pack.
fly more combo, but they have another
Yeah,
one too. It's
yeah.
got a really good
The
camera.
difference is that the light series um, comes with the ND filters, and the other one didn't. I don't know what they have there. I've had several people say when they've ordered some of the drones, they've got an SD card.
Yeah.
I didn't get one with what I bought. You know, whatever came in the box was it. They didn't like stick an SD card with a piece of tape on the side as a gift. So it was, you know, it was a little bit different. But yeah, I've flown the Nano, and it flies good. But when I look at the video, it's a little shaky. You can see it has jello in it, and I know Marcus has had the same issue with his. But I was told that the firmware is going to fix that. But more than likely, this will be on its way probably to Virginia or something for someone else to fly it a little bit, and then we'll probably sell it. It'll probably go to somebody.
Yep, probably will. So, yeah, so that's exciting that you're able to make some contacts now. You actually have somebody that face to deal with. So that's cool, Robbie. And
Yeah. These are the batteries. Yeah, like I said though, it's the dealers here are really good. because I mean, the service was really nice, even though like we went into his home and he had a big area set up, and he probably had 100 drones in there that had come in with these, and he had a pretty big inventory. But he's the only dealer here in Thailand, so you basically order it, and he'll just bring it to your door. I mean, everything is delivered. Me, anybody. It's not that I'm anybody different, but you buy it and they'll bring it to you. I'd be curious how much the markup is
Yeah, it's
because
amazing how
they're
the
making,
yeah, it's amazing how different resources in different parts of the world
yeah,
are, right?
but there's only one in the whole
I
country.
know,
So
I
if you
know.
didn't live, yeah, I guess if you lived out further than I did, he wouldn't be willing to bring it to you. I'm not that far from him. We drove an hour and a half from where we were, so I would say from here I could get there easily in under an hour with no problem. But that's probably the limit. And I told him that I want this. People in the U.S. want to see some of the stuff about it. Help me out. And he said, "Well, I can send it to you, but it'll take 2 or 3 days to get there. I could bring it to you." And I was like, "Well, what time will it be there? Text me when it's there." So he's
I'll be
like,
waiting.
yeah, he's like, "I'll have it at 5:30." And then he texts me and he's like, "I got a problem." And I was like, "I knew it. It's going to be another 2 weeks." And he's like, "I need 30 minutes. I got to eat." So me and Pamika got in the car, drove down there, spent about 2 hours with him, dinner time, and sit down and talked a lot of stuff. And they were explaining what Intel's trying to do. They're trying to put out a good product, and they were pushed. I'll say that they were pushed to get some of these drones out. And just like with the Mavic 3 when it first came out, it was
Hmm.
missing a lot of stuff in there. And
Yeah.
firmware updates will have to fix any issues. I don't know what the issues are going to be on this yet. I'll know later today, and I'll post what the issues are. But I know what the issues here are so far that people are having. There were some speed issues, got some jello. There's a bunch of small issues with this, but I think that most of it is going to be fixed with firmware updates. But I'm eager to test the battery timeout because I want to do a comparison on this and hover them. And I want to like really compare this, the video, the other stuff, and actually see. Because, here's the thing. The Nano competes with the Air 2, okay? With the Mini 2, the Mini 2. But the problem is you can just about buy two Mini 2s for what this thing costs.
Well, you're talking about Mini 2S's, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
the Mini
yeah.
FCs?
No, the Mini 2. This is supposed to be the comparison, the competition.
How
Not
much is
the
that?
Mini 2, the
Yeah, because
4K. So this one here was like close to $900.
oh my
Same thing
gosh.
that Marcus paid for his, and it's a Mini, $900. So I was like thinking, and that's been the big thing. You can get a Mini 2 for what? 450, $500. So you're talking about almost two of them for the price of what this is.
Yeah, a whole lot of accessories, right? And maybe the smart
Yep.
controller now that would need it too, because now with the new release from DJI, all the new third party developers like Lychee and oh gosh, Maiden and Harmony, now they can develop better apps than the
Yeah.
DJI Fly app. And I know that's one of the things that a lot of people really missed about not being able. They really missed the fact that we're not able to run those third party apps because
Yeah.
sometimes the Fly app falls short, especially with the Mini Two with the active track. And so
Well,
with Lychee, you could do active track with the Mini Two. So
I like it. I like the way this thing is set up.
oh yeah, let's
Uh,
talk about that. That's the
when
controller,
the
right?
Yeah, when the controller came, everybody complained about the sticks, where the sticks go. And I saw someone else made a comment that on the back here, in these two holes, there's actually screws countersunk in here, Al. So
Yeah,
I don't know by luck if it just sticks in there when you turn it, and you put it in there that it grabs something. I don't know that there's really threads there, but it fits. So I saw somebody else say that, and I asked the dealer, where do they go? He goes, well, I don't think there's really a spot. I was like, well, you know what? If you stick them in these two holes, they do fit, but it's kind of like almost to the point where you could cross thread it. So I think that whoever figured that out and got lucky and just found a spot and said that's where they go. But you can put them there.
Well, I could just see a lot of 3D printer applications like this one here that I just printed on my 3D printer. All we have to do is just get a print
Yeah.
and just make it in the TPU instead of that, this hard stuff PLA, and then mount it on.
It's a good controller. At first, I didn't like it because I thought, man, it feels like you're gonna drop it. It's gonna fall out of your hand. But it's got like a texture to it, almost like a metal, kind of like sockets have got that metal engraved for grip that's
Oh,
on
really?
here,
Uh huh.
and it's got some weight to it. And I thought, man, what did they do? They like threw metal in the inside of this to make it. So when I was doing my firmware update, I heard a fan kick on. It's like, where's that coming from? And
Right.
it actually has fans inside it like the smart controller has here and
Right.
here. And they blow the hot air out. So this is actually a pretty heavy, and it fits, the phone fits in it good. I really like the controller the way this thing is set up. It's comfortable, but what I like most about it is I like the app. The
Yes.
app is like, the DJI app, they tell us home point, aircraft approaching. The chick on this, she tells you everything. I mean, everything you're doing, she's talking to you, and it really sounds like a real person. It's not, like safe,
Okay,
but
honey, take it
it
left
does
right
feel
now.
good. It does feel good. Now, the dealer did tell me that later that the smart controller was going to be able to work for the Light series. I didn't ask him if it was going to work for the Nano for the smaller drones, but he said it
Right.
was going to work for the Light. So I'm
Hmm.
really eager to see. I'm eager to see how this thing works because I spent a lot of money on this Light too. And honestly, I've already got two full size drones because I got the Air 2S and I've got the Mavic 3. But Mark Fisher loves his Autel. I think he's got some of the bigger Autels. And like I said before, he posted, he said, I'd like to get one, but I don't know when I could get my hands on it. It sucks because you never know when they're really going to release stuff. And I had texted him and I said, call me in the morning. I'll have it. Well, it's morning. So Mark, call me and you can, if you're not watching, you can call me and take a check on it. It's heavy though, Al. It really is. It really is.
Yeah, I would think so with that big old battery, it's like probably.
I'm eager to weigh it because like on the Nano, if you compare the Nano to the Mini 2, I think the Mini 2 battery weighs more than the Nano weighs. Guys, sorry I keep switching up between the two drones. It's just that this battery is just so little that goes in the Nano that it just feels like it's lighter than what the Nano is. So I wonder when they were building this, did they make the battery lighter to stay under the weight limit, or or maybe I need to weigh both and see what the difference is on there. But it is a different battery.
It
So
is.
anyway, I wanted to share that and let y'all see it, and then like I said, I'll fly it. I saw someone else that actually had this and did a test flight, and he was telling me on the inside where this touches the drone here, it's supposed to have some plastic on the body on the inside,
I see that.
right here.
Hmm.
And he took his off, and he said from opening and closing it, it's scratching the case. So he said, try to leave it on there so it doesn't scratch it.
Got it. So it looks like Greg jumped in here from Harley FPB. How you doing, man? And we have A to Z Drone Dude in here in the house. And we have Michael from Fly Zone Drones. What's going on, guys? Good to have you here. See who else? Bob Casey's jumped in. Maddie's here. Let's see. Yeah, Johnny's here. So thanks for dropping by. So we're waiting on Ron Brown to show up, guys. He'll be coming on here in a little bit. But in the meantime, we're going to continue on the Autel topic. Unless you guys want some other discussion, just let us know in the chat. Um,
Yeah, I want to know who else has it. Who else has the Autel products? Because, like I said, this is a first for me. Al, have you owned any Autels before?
no, but Fred Johnson did, and my neighbor next door does too. And I got to fly his Evo 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had the original Evo, and then he had the Evo 2 also. So,
Yeah.
so
How's
those,
it fly?
yeah, they're rock solid flyers. Most of the people's complained with the Evo and the Evo 2 was the horizon. It wasn't horrible, but it definitely tilted. They never really got it perfect, but they got it good enough.
Yeah.
So
AZ drone dude says that he has
yeah, I just saw
the
that.
whole range of Autel.
So if do you want to jump in and chat with us, jump in and talk about Autel because there's
Hold
definitely
on a second. Let me see if I can grab a link.
yeah, I got the link here too.
Yeah. Can you put it in there if you got it?
Yeah. So there's the link.
All right. There's Mr. Ron Brown. Let's
All
let
right.
Ron in. Hey, hey.
Hello, hello, gentlemen. How are you tonight?
Hey, Ron, good to see you, man.
Good to see
We
you,
are
Al
good.
and Robbie.
I was just having a flashback, back in, I guess, 2018 when, I was new to streaming and all that. And we're flying the Xeno and making videos with the Xeno. Remember the original Xeno? And we didn't know, but when we received it, it was in sports mode. We were flying around doing all these tests on it.
Full
and,
throttle all the way. Yeah,
it would do the crab walk, coming back home. You know what I mean?
yep.
And
And
you
sometimes
invited,
it crabs to the left, sometimes it crabs to the right. All depend on which firmware version.
yeah, and
Robbie, it was a great time. It was like Al was saying, and only about like maybe six or eight guys in the U.S. had it that were making videos on it.
yeah,
And we all kind of communicate with each other because you got no real help from Hubson, or anything. So we were kind of our own, kind of help group. Did you get the firmware update? What did it do for you? So it was a fun time.
and with that said, remember to how to update the firmware. You had to plug it into first. You had to download their flashing little app, and then you had to
Yeah.
download the firmware, and then you had to hook it up to the quad USB cable to the quad.
And you better have a PC. You better not be an all Mac guy.
Now, you could not do it in the Mac guy, but you, I was the first guest for. How should I say it? I'm having a hard time trying to figure out how to say it. I was the first time I was a guest. It was on your show. Remember,
Oh,
it was
wow. And I
Zoo
think you were,
Nation.
I think you were a guest on the second show. And the first show was just kind of like Bill the drone reviewer and Bill Thomas were kind of
Yeah,
helping
yeah,
and going whatever. But you were the first, like, it was the second show, but it was the first like real show where we kind of programmed it ourselves. So you
yeah.
were the first,
Eh,
number was the second show, but the first real show.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, I had never been on a live stream, and I joined your live stream. I mean, obviously, in the business world, we always did it, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
coming from IT and sales, you always did those calls whenever
yep.
possible because that way you could kind of leverage your resources and multiply yourself a little bit better. You didn't have to travel as much. But man, I sure do appreciate you guys inviting me on the channel. I mean, to this day, at when we were in Texas, that was the first time I actually met you and
Yeah, that
Marcus.
was great seeing you in Texas. Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah.
was really it was definitely good fellowship. That's the way I saw it
Al, you
anyway.
thinking about coming to the Florida meetup? I went last year. We had a very good time in Florida.
Yeah, I am definitely planning to go, and I know Robbie and I were talking about some of the details, trying to get down there because I'm also trying to get my lovely wife down there. I'm going to book a place down West Palm Beach, right on the water, where that Peanut Island is, where Captain Ray likes
Yep,
to
yep, yep.
take his boat rides in. Well, right on the waterfront side, well, that's the channel where all the big old cruise ships go out to go gambling. Right there at that point is.
I know exactly what you mean because I've stayed on Singer Island before, which is like
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. And,
yeah,
and you're a Marriott guy too. And this is Oceana Point. That's the name of that resort that they
yeah. That
have.
was a big Marriott. That was a big Marriott in there. Of course, they had timeshares and everything at
Yeah,
Singer Island. So yeah, yeah.
yeah, and that's what I'm going to jump for. I'm going to jump on that one. They have. I've stayed there like 3 or 4 times. I actually bought a honeymoon trip, not a honeymoon,
A package.
yeah, right. In my dreams, I guess. No, it was anniversary present for my wife there, uh,
Great, great.
and and it felt like a honeymoon, I guess.
Well, I got big plans. We have big plans also. My wife is coming also, and we want to rent a place for a month. Somewhere around the meetup or whatever. So, I'm Robbie. I'm in the Jersey Shore here, and we go through a couple. It's not weather's. We're kind of got somewhat mild. We're a little bit cooler than Al. Just a little bit colder than Al is. But I mean, like January, February, even most of March are kind of brutal here at the shore. You get that offshore breezes and whatever, so it's nice, kind of like escape to Florida. And you don't really want to go to Florida maybe in January or maybe early February because you can get a cold week down there too, where it's like not even getting 70. So you pay all this money and it's not all that warm really. But by the time March rolls around, Florida's weather is really starting to warm up and being
Yeah.
conducive to like a long stay.
Have you booked your
Ron,
hotel?
what's the temperature? What's the temperature where you're at now, Ron?
It's a real cold day. Let me get my watch going here. I mean, it got up, maybe got to freezing today, but I'm sure it's sub
Oh wow.
freezing now. But yeah, I mean, we usually don't get that cold. This is unusually
Yeah.
cold or whatever because the ocean is about 40 now, and that's probably about as cold as
Yeah.
it's going to get. So that keeps the medium temperature a little bit higher. We even got 18 inches of snow last week, and we almost never get snow at the Jersey Shore, anything more than a dusting.
Oh
So
man, that was a perfect day to fly right afterwards. I know I flew right afterwards. I haven't published it. I've been having kind of a publishing block
dilemma,
lately.
huh? Well, you know what happened
Sometimes.
to
Your
me?
time block.
I would have loved to get some footage of that snow, but I went to snow, do snow shoveling, and the old guy here just turned 62 or
Broke your
whatever.
back.
I threw my back out or whatever, so
Oh
like I was
no, I
no
was just
good.
kidding.
Yeah, I was no good the
Oh,
next day, and by the time then
oh
it like kind of rained or whatever 2 days later, so then it was all gone. So,
yeah.
but it did
Sorry
it
to
did
hear
snow
that.
again. So I did get some flowers, and the back is almost better now. I mean, today has been my best
Oh
day by a
good.
long shot. I think by tomorrow, it
Uh,
was like a muscle thing. I didn't really, like pull a
Did
vertebrae. I
you
just, it's just old man, no muscles because I haven't shoveled snow for years.
did you
So
medicate to help you out?
did I do what?
Medicate
Did
to
you
help you out?
meditate?
Just a couple of whatever
The muscle
Advil and stuff like
relaxers?
that or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it was okay if I mean it. The first couple hours was real bad, but after that, if just not doing nothing was all you needed. Just sit in the easy chair.
Yeah, no, I had a really good time flying right afterwards, and it was pretty neat because as soon as it started breaking, I put the bird up in the air because I know I could see the front leaving, and I could just like see the blue sky and the gray sky, and it came out really good. I need to publish it, but
Yeah, you need
Brad
to get up,
also
Al.
published. Yeah,
You need
yeah,
to get up
right.
before summer comes and nobody wants to see
I know, right?
it.
Yeah. So, so what I was asking was, have you booked the place?
No, we're still looking at. We're not staying in a hotel. We're trying to rent, like kind of a Airbnb, type of place or whatever for the month. No, we're not paying hotel rates for a whole month, but you can get Airbnbs anywhere from like
Yeah, yeah,
$99 to up to I mean, you can go way up,
Yeah.
but you can get something between 99 and 200 that all look pretty nice, or whatever. And a lot of them, like we looked at a couple places right on, basically just 5 miles from where we're flying that day.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, Maddie's staying in the Hampton Inn and
Yeah. Yeah.
this in Stuart, Florida.
Yeah.
So use
And Stuart,
discount code South
and,
Florida
and,
Drone Meetup for discounted
and we looked into
rooms.
Stewart too. We were almost going to get a place in Stewart at one point, and Stewart was voted the most friendly town in America or Florida. I forget which one. One of those two things. One of the most friendliest
Wow.
towns.
So
That
that's
sounds
nice. So
good.
yeah, you live pretty close to the ocean now, right?
Oh, I mean, I could walk down in 5 minutes.
I know, right? So
I
when
can
are you
walk
going to
down
hit
to
that
I
next?
can walk down to some $10 million houses down right on the beach in about 5 minutes.
And they're hoping a big storm doesn't come one day. You know what I mean?
Well, Hurricane Sandy did. You remember?
Yeah, man, it tore that
But put it
place
this
up.
way, Al, you see a lot of news, about the, Sandy and the damage. Sure, the most of the damage was done to the people who live beach block. And if you can afford a $10 million beach house, you could probably afford to fix it up after the hurricane, right?
If you could get help to fix it, because everybody gets hammered so hard, the resources get sucked up. You
Yeah,
know,
you're
it
right.
gets
But
so
Yeah.
but there's more contractors, builders, over people
they're
first
flying
floor
in.
into at the Jersey Shore than any place else. When I was younger, we used to get together. We'd rent a house at the shore or whatever for the summer. Well, finally, my friend Kathy figured out, we could go to the Caribbean for a week in the wintertime, airfare, everything cheaper than we would stay at the shore for the summer. That's how overpriced the shore is, and how overpriced it's been for years. But it's even more so now. I mean, it's like it's like Beverly Hills down here. I have just a normal house down here. My house, if it was nowhere near the shore, it'd be like a $300,000 house. It's $1 million house down here just because of where it's located.
Yeah, and location, 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 right?
All the realtors say, "Yep, yep."
Yeah, well, good for you, man. That's awesome. Yeah, well, I've been threatening to come up your way, but then COVID hit, and we all kind of been like,
Oh yeah,
oh,
it's been a tough year to travel. Well, maybe we can get something together. Summer Captain Ray can come down. You guys can come up. You saw the footage from the Ken Heron meetup. I mean, that Ken Heron meetup is right in my backyard. Ocean City's just a few miles south of me or whatever. Lucy
yeah,
Elbert is my town, so we got a lot of picturesque locations. Of course, summer's a tricky time because it's so jammed around here in the summer.
yeah, it is.
Everybody from Philadelphia, whatever, comes to the Jersey Shore in the summer. So we're the ones that are overcrowded summer. This time of year, it's a ghost town around here. Like tumbleweeds practically go down the street. Because most of the homeowners in my town, it's their second homes. So when the wintertime comes, I mean, it's probably like, I don't know, if 20% of the houses or maybe have full-time residents. A lot of them go to Florida for the winter.
Yeah,
Wow.
you got the snowbirds, right? If you got that
You got
money.
Well, it's kind of like you, Al. Al, you
Captain
have
Ray's
your
a
place in
snowbird.
what lake was it, Lake Anna?
Yeah, yeah, like that. So,
Yeah.
So wait a minute. Robbie teased me earlier today that we were going to see the Autel Evo Lite Plus on the show tonight.
where
That
were
hit,
you,
I didn't
Ron?
forget, I
What
didn't
happened,
forget
man? You
you,
missed it.
but you were eating, you missed it, so I guess you don't get to see it.
And I don't get to see a replay.
You gotta watch the whole show.
It looks
Ron, it's a
familiar
heavy
to
drone.
an Air 2S.
Yeah, and Robbie's going to send you the link to the show, Ron. Sorry, bad joke. Yeah,
Wow. It
it's
does look real close.
It is definitely
heavier.
I do, but it looks like it's got the same camera on it as my big boy Evo.
Yeah, it does look like exactly the same camera.
It's got the 6K camera on it.
Yeah.
Now, he was explaining to me today that the sensor is different on this drone than the DJI drone because this sees yellow light instead of red light and is supposed to do better in lower light conditions. So I'm really eager to fly this, and I'm not sure what it sells for there. I know that a couple of people have them. They probably got them from the dealer or something, but this was $1,500-$1,600 here. This drone was. This was $900. I could have got two. The mini, the mini twos, just about for what this cost. And we talked before you came on, and a couple of people have had some issues
Uh-oh.
So it
We
looks
lost
like we're
Robbie for a second. Robbie will be back,
Robbie, wake
folks.
up. Hit
But Al and I were entertaining you people until Robbie could get connected again. Al, have you owned an Autel drone?
I have never owned Autel drones, but I've actually flown two of them: the Evo, the original Evo, and the
Yeah.
Evo 2 that you
Okay.
have there. Because
Yeah.
one of my neighbors, literally, we fly our drones and we go, oh, let's go chase each other from each other's backyards, just
Mm-hmm.
for fun. Yeah, so he's a really good guy. He actually, I bought his old Phantom 4 version 2. Actually, I have it.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's one of your favorite drones, right? Remember you had that for a while?
The Phantom 4 was my first good drone. Now, I didn't have the I didn't have the
The
fancy
V-
V2 or whatever version. I just had
right.
the first Phantom 4. But Robbie's back now. Robbie was in the middle of telling us about the
Yeah.
I had too much stuff on my screen, and I keep hitting my keyboard, so I have to move stuff around. But yeah, I'm really happy with the weight. It just feels, it's heavy. It's like a brick. It feels well built, but it looks like it's got carbon fiber on the arms here.
Yes.
And the battery, so this is the battery for it. It's got these locks that you can see there.
Mm-hmm.
They slide in and lock in place on the back of here. So
Yes. Would you show everybody how the battery goes in and out? It's kind of unique.
So it actually, and I have to hold it because it's pretty tight.
Yeah.
It squeezes here, and then I don't want to throw it across the room, guys. There we go.
Yeah, I understand.
Pull it out.
Yeah, look at that. Like
so
almost the whole top of the drone is the battery.
Yeah,
that's
it
a
has
unique design
rails on the inside.
Yeah, I really like the lock mechanism. I mean, the Air 2S, what I really like about it, you know how they have the side little clips or metal, and when you punch in the battery in, it tells you that it's seated correctly. Now, I asked Robbie that as soon as it says seats, all is telling you that it's made electrical connection, not physical. You know how that other one made sure you were physically locked in. I thought
now the Mavic 3 also alerts you. It'll say the battery is not seated correctly.
Yeah, and that's that was the first time I saw that switch being implemented on any of the platforms. Of course, DJI is always bleeding edge, so and they do a doggone good job.
Here we got the side by side.
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
the 3.
The Mavic
not a whole lot smaller than the Mavic 3.
Not much. Nope. I bet you it weighs the same. Do you have a scale?
It's really close. The Mavic 3, I think, weighs a hair more, it feels like. I need to get my scale out and weigh and see what the difference is. But the Autel guy tells me that this is going to look better than the Air 2S and it's a better drone. That has to be determined. So I'm going to find out today because I've got to do my firmware update on it. It's daytime here now. So it's 7:50 in the morning. So once we get off, I'm going to charge my batteries and then take a little flight and then watch Drone Nation.
God, thank you for the shameless plug there or whatever. We have a big guest on. Captain Ray Kelly's coming on tonight.
All right, Mr. Kelly. He seems to be making the rounds, that's for sure.
That's your multi-charger.
It's funny because I don't know. This is my first Autel drone, so I'm not sure how the this is for the Nano. Now, my question is the drone that you have, does it have this also? Your big Autel?
And the base kit, you just get the plug. But if you get a higher kit, you get this. It's kind of like a tower, and you can put 4 batteries on this tower, and it'll multi-charge them. And if you hit the button on top, it'll charge them all at the same time. If you don't hit it, it'll just charge like DJI, just charge the battery that's the closest to being fully charged first.
That's the way my Matrice was. It had a block, and they locked 4. Well, it actually had 7, but I think it charged 4 at a time. You'd put them on, and it was heavy that plugged in. So it looks like that they've kind of adapted to the same situation on these for both of these new drones.
Right.
This being the Nano, and then this being the Lite Plus.
Yeah.
So, but
And
yeah, it's got
you know what
a
that's good for, Robbie? Is that good for travel? Like the one I have for the big Autel, the Evo 2 Pro, not very friendly for travel.
yeah.
I
I
mean,
really like
the minis is
I really
travel
like the
growing.
way that the battery is set up for the Air 2, where you push it on. On this one, on the Nano, it hangs. It's like a
Huh.
shelf that it hangs on.
Uh-huh.
So it actually, you don't push it down, it actually hooks on there.
Hmm.
Where do you put the feed voltage in on the other end?
Yeah,
Your power system.
it's got a plug here.
Yeah.
Is it a USB-C?
Looks like
Yeah,
it.
it's C on. It comes with C on
USB-C is a
both sides.
24-pin
Your
USB
charger.
connector system with a rotationally symmetrical connector.
Oh, sorry about
Would you like
that.
to hear
My
more?
phone's talking to
Okay.
me.
We have your Alan's phone joined the show.
Yeah.
But it's
Hello.
the same way on this big one too. And I'm telling you, this is beefy to lock
Oh yeah,
down. Let's
look
see
at
if it
that.
locks in place. Oh yeah, it does. This one actually locks.
Okay.
The other one doesn't. It just kind of lays there.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that could be
Nice.
kind of hang. Does it doesn't have like a little hanger hook on it, and it has to be laying flat on your desk or on a
Yeah.
bench.
yeah.
That's what it looks like. Yeah. So, how long have you had your? Did you have the original Evo 2, Ron?
Well, yeah, this is, this is my one and only Evo. I mean, Autel drone I've owned, the Evo 2 Pro. I didn't have the first Evo, and I haven't ordered either the Nano or the Lite yet. I mean, it's early days, of course, but there's been a lot of issues out there with the Nano Plus already. I haven't seen anybody have the regular Nano. So there's been a lot of issues now. The Lite, I mean, I've only seen the Lite Plus, but the people I've seen had it, like the original Dobo, they've all said good things about it. So it looks like the Light Plus is the winner right out the gate, and the Nano's got a little work to do before it's ready for prime time. That's just my early take.
Yeah, that's what I've seen too, and I know that was that one gentleman overseas that he was flying the Light, and it looked really good. Really
The World
good.
Explorer.
Yeah, the World
Yeah,
Explorer. Yeah,
yeah. He's a
that,
good
yeah,
guy. He's a good guy. You message him and he gets back to you and everything like that. So he's a good
yeah,
guy.
yeah. That was actually
Yeah.
very good time lapse. They did. I really enjoyed it.
Well, I'll say for this, for the issues that they're having, like I said, the Autel guy told me that the firmware is going to cure a lot of the issues, which
Mm-hmm.
makes me feel good because I've noticed that when I fly it out of the wind, it's not in the wind. I don't really see any jello, but if I have any wind on it, I'll always see it when I go
Hmm.
up. So I'm
Interesting.
really eager to, and I had one of another person that has got a bunch of Autels, and he was trying to tell me, change some stuff in the camera and see if that helps or anything else. But I think it's just, I don't know, the vibration or pressure from the wind or something.
Robbie, I know that I've changed the gain on my gimbals. It has made a huge difference on my Fimi
Really?
Mini. Yeah, on my Fimi Mini, I've changed the gains quite a lot. On the Fimi product line, you have to change the gain on your gimbal, or you end up with like pretty wonky horizon or a lot of jello. But yeah, that's something you could try. Just change the gain on the gimbal and see if that helps. It
Now,
did. It did mine.
yeah, with the Evo 2 Pro, I've never seen any jello or gimbal drops or whatever, but it does have a slightly crooked horizon issue that can
Yeah.
usually be fixed with just calibrating your gimbal, but it doesn't stick to the next time. So you almost have to calibrate the gimbal before every flight to get a nice smooth horizon. I don't mean it's not a Femi horizon where it's like the world's tilted, but it's just
Yeah.
slightly off or whatever. And again, it can be corrected, but the problem is you have to do it somewhat almost every time. But the gimbal's rock solid as far as no shakes, no jello.
That's
You were
right.
you were talking about you were talking about the horizon being like that, and it was really funny because when I upgraded from the Air 2 to the Air 2S, I never really went in and adjusted all the settings. And
Mhm.
somehow when I bought my drone, it was set to FPV instead of follow
Oh
me.
yeah,
So when
yeah,
I
yeah.
would put it on like sports mode, it started flying and it started doing this. I was like, what's wrong with this drone? What's going on? I didn't understand what it was. And I was like, man, this sucks. So I was having to like fly. And I think if I flew it in cinematic mode or one of the other modes, it wouldn't do it, but it would do it in sports mode. And I was like, is there something wrong with the drone? So I went into the controller and I saw it and I was like, okay, follow me, fixed. Because when I was flying, my fiance was like, what's going on with the drone? I'm like, what do you mean? She said, you're flying at a 45-degree angle. I was like, no, honey, I guess it's the camera. She said, no, look. So I did panic a little bit. And then when I figured out what it was, I was like,
I can just see
I'm going to have to
Robbie
go
doing
back to the Air 2S.
Yeah, I see Arizona. My buddy Arizona drone dude. He's a good guy. He says the Maverick 3 is 895 and the light is 820. So we got what
Yeah.
by my math that's 75 more grams. So
Yeah, you can
not a whole
feel
lot.
it. You can feel it.
Okay.
Yeah, talking about tilted horizon, man, you and Marcus have had the worst luck with the FEMIs. Both of you. And Johnny too. I think it was the other one that had some horrible horizon issues with the Phoebe Mini.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you sell that?
Al, did you get the new Phoebe, the X8 2022? That's
No, it just it's not worth. It's not worth the squeeze for the juice you're getting out of that thing. You know what I mean? It's just not enough there. So I mean,
supposedly has a better camera, right?
yeah, supposedly, and is it going to come anywhere near and like the other products? Probably not. They've kind of let us down also with the Palm and the Palm 2. Also, they're kind of trying to make those cameras better, but they're not. They're not. So in my estimate, they really need to come up with something more innovative right now. The mini that I got from FEMI, I love it. I'm going to keep it. But it's a hit or miss thing there with the manufacturing quality control that they have.
Right,
Because
right.
you and
One guy
Marcus,
may get a good one, the next guy may get a bad one.
yeah,
Yeah, you can't be like that. You can't have like 50% chance you get a good one, 50% chance you get a bad one. You got to be like like DJI. I don't know. 9 out of 10 are good, or better than that.
Yeah.
yeah. I
Well,
mean, we saw he got
Mark
his.
Fisher ran into that with his Mavic 3. And I
Yeah,
remember when he said,
Yep.
I love you, but I hate you. I'm taking you back. And I knew in my
yeah,
mind, he's going to buy another one. And he did. And he didn't
Yep.
have the issue that he had with the
yeah,
original one.
Yep.
And
yeah.
I'm glad for that he did that and didn't just write it off and say, hey, it's a bad drone. It doesn't work. I'm glad that he at least tried once and it worked for him because I really like mine. I had not flown mine. And honestly, I haven't really flown it over water very much. I'm a little nervous because I just want to make sure the firmware and stuff's good. My Air 2S, I'll take out until the battery's dead. It doesn't bother me. I'm confident. But this one, I try to stay and fly the shoreline. I might go in a little bit, but I'll go in where I can like crash it in the grass if I need to.
Yeah, Chris Faber for sure. Sunrise Water Media here said, I got somebody jumping
Yeah,
in
Maddie
here.
says here, Autel hasn't always been the best with firmware updates. Just don't be surprised if you wait for a while for that update. Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
I'm pissed off at DJI forever and ever because they haven't updated the air unit. And the air unit, this sucker right here has got a really nice DVR. Okay. But it doesn't work half the time. Come on, camera.
There you
So
go. You're focused.
it doesn't work half the time. So I paid extra. I mean, you get a better range on your flights, having two antennas. But I want DVR. My goggle DVRs are not good enough. That's why I put the air units in. That's why I bought that frame so I could build it with the air unit. That frame is designed just for that. And then they haven't fixed that over a year and a half. Come on, DJI, fix it. And
Ron,
so,
What do you think
fly
that means? They're
MPV?
losing interest in the air unit, or they come up with a new one, or
well, no, Shark Bite came out with this DVR you can put in the middle of it, right? So now you just take the camera cable right out, going to the DJI air unit, okay, and you put it straight into another little module that adds more latency to it.
right.
So now you're putting latency in it because now we're feeding a camera into the DVR, and from the DVR, it's like the old days how you hooked up your TV. Remember,
Yeah.
same way. Same way, ran it through the DVR, came out to the TV. Well, the TV is my goggles, so it's going to add another 25 milliseconds of latency to it. So if you're hammering it pretty hard, that's going to be a problem. I'm a freestyler. I'm not a racer, so it's not a big deal to me. But what torques me off that I have to spend additional money, spend additional time configuring it to have the function that they sold to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And so
Now,
that
Al,
is totally
have you
wrong.
gone all digital now?
Yes, I'm all
Okay.
digital now. I still have a TBS module on it, and that's more for my airplanes. So now moving to the airplane, but they'll have all my. I'm gonna put these guys in it, which is the Vista Nebula Pro camera, and I love the Nebula Pro camera. I love the color profile, but what I like about it is the low light capabilities. Now, it is not as good as the Polar. Now, the Polar kit, that's going on a different build here. So, and so that's where, I've been having fun building this stuff, and I haven't been making videos about it. Okay, so lately I've been kind of selfish because I just want to
Al's
do.
been playing instead of working.
Yeah, I've been playing pretty hard, and I got a 3D printer. I've been printing like cool stuff for my kids and for my dog, and stuff like.
How
Now,
long have
Ron,
you
do
been
you
in?
do you fly FPV, Ron?
I do not. I toyed with it a couple years ago. I had some, little loop type things. I toyed with it, but it's not for me. It's too much. All these third party things. I'm just lazy. It's great. It's great. Nothing bad about it. It's just too much involved for me.
There's a
I'm
lot
just
of tinkering, no
too
doubt.
lazy at this point in my life. Hey, Al, Fly Zone Michael's trying to tell you that he says some company called ORQA has come out with digital now goggles and air unit.
Well, that's superb.
Do you know that
Right
company?
now, yeah, and so Caddx has been, I have read about them, but the only competition has been, Caddx and Sharks, Shark Bite, and that's it in the digital market. But in Shark Bite, it hasn't lived up to the hype. So it's good to see another third party jumping in. Thanks, Mike,
Now,
for letting me
Michael, is
know.
that where he's talking about these being digital? Are they available right now that are not digital, and they're coming out soon with the digital? Do they already have them out that are not digital?
That are not digital.
Yeah, because it says
Uh,
right here, it says that they're coming out with digital, so they have a non-digital one now that you can buy.
That I don't know. I've never seen anything else from Orca, so I'm not sure how to pronounce it. But I think that's how would you pronounce it, Rod or Robbie?
Yeah, I didn't want to, with that Q in there, I don't know how to say that. I don't know if that's just a made
Orca.
up name or that's a kind of a name from a foreign language. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be just an acronym also. So
Yeah, yeah.
you would think it would be all capitalized, but this is Michael writing to us. So
Hey, Al, I was watching another show earlier tonight, and Brad Austin's on there, and he was telling a story about he had this kind of word leak, and you came over to help him out, and you were there for hours. He wanted to pay you, you wouldn't take any money, so he gave you that kind of magic wand controller for the
oh
DJI
yeah,
drone.
yeah. Let me get that, man. Rob is. Yeah, that Brad is just an amazing guy. I went over there helping. He ran into a water leak, and so we had to cut out a ceiling and start. Did the whole thing. Replace valves, and Brad is super guy. So yeah, he gave me actually the motion controller for the FPV, and I was like,
Because he was
what?
telling us a story about he doesn't have the DJI PV drone, but he got the goggles just so he could do ride-alongs when he goes to events like
Well,
Spin Up, and he sold all the components off that came with it, and it really only cost him $300 for the goggles once he sold off the other pieces. So it was kind of an interesting story. But then he said he won the goggles and the
Yes.
wand controller, the air control, whatever you call that thing you have in your hand. He
Yeah,
won
Russ.
on somebody's Ross's show.
Russ's
So
show,
yeah,
Drone 51. Yeah. But dude, he's like hitting the gold mine like Matty, And Matty's like been picking up stuff left and right. So yeah, so he's got all the infrastructure. I've been trying to convince him to build. And I would literally just give him a frame, give him some motors, and go to town. All you
now
have to do is
do you have the DJI FPV drone now?
I do. I really like it. I put the
You
small
like it?
ring on it too,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and again, I've been hoarding all this video. I mean, terribly hoarding all this video. I have, I put my Peanut on top of the FPV drone to compare the cameras. I put my 7 and the 9 and the 10 GoPro cameras on top of it to compare it. And I'm not going to even bother to put the Xiaomi product line, which Xiaomi is the parent company of Fimi, as you know.
Yes.
And they come up with action cameras. I won't even bother to put that on there because I know it'll be garbage. So it's not even worth putting it on there. But it might be something like, hey, here's a $150 camera. Here's a $300 camera. Here's a $400 camera. And here's the DJI FPV camera. Which one do you think looks best? It'll be really hard to compare that because of the fact that, the FPV drone is shooting in 10K, 60 frames a second, and it's stabilized. But with the electronic stabilization of the GoPros is unrivaled, right? I
Right.
mean, the only
Right.
one's going to rival is going to be the Cadix or the Insta360.
Right.
Those are the only ones that are going to compete with it. Oh no, I take that back. Now we have DJI.
The go to or
Yeah, no, the Action 2.
Action 2. Sorry, I meant to say Action 2.
Yeah, the Action
What's the
2.
go? The go something too, right? That's just the
Well,
360, right? Yeah.
yeah.
It's too many names out there now, Al.
They're all going 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And so it makes sense because
Yeah,
once
I
they
mean
brand,
nowadays almost everybody has good digital image stabilization now. I mean,
yeah,
they're
and there's the
all
Action
the top
2.
players are so good. It's not even much of a competition anymore. How much better can you be than being good enough?
Yeah,
There
and
you go. There it is.
the drone
Yeah,
committee doesn't like that product very much because you can't extract the metadata from it to be able
really.
to
I
throw it
love
in
it.
to be able to throw it into that additional GoPro stabilizer because once
Right.
you extract the metadata and have another algorithm run it instead of the GoPro algorithm, then you get like this you know Hollywood quality stabilization. But you got to pay an extra $100 just to get access to that stabilization engine that runs those algorithms for you. So that's
Always something
super.
now. Always
Yeah.
something.
Well, I mean, technology is continuing to explode. I think it's not going to just climb, run. It's just going to freaking
Yeah, I mean, remember
exponential.
almost a year or two ago, we were hearing that future DJI drones wouldn't even have mechanical gimbals on them anymore because digital image stabilization would be so good that it wouldn't be necessary. And of course, the drones would be even more crash proof if you didn't have a moving gimbal in it.
It'll be amazing if they could do it. But the fact is that, man, you've seen my videos where I strap another drone on top of the other drone.
Yep.
And when you strap that drone on top of the other one, you see what the other gimbal is doing underneath it. And when you
Hmm.
slam on the brakes, you know it's going to be standing on its tail, right? And just
Hmm.
like, whoa. And you've seen it when you're bringing it back full speed and you let go of the throttle and that thing just, whoa. And so those gimbals are being slammed from guardrail to guardrail. And image stabilization just won't be able to handle that much, just that much. I don't know, pendulum, whatever you want to call it, just way too much uh, compensation required to keep it straight.
Well, Ron, talking about the action cams, I did a little test because I wanted something to take in the pool on vacation. And I wanted to do some filming with my fiance's daughter jumping in the water to see how it works. So I had this,
Oh,
and they make this, DJI makes this for it,
waterproof case housing. Nice.
waterproof case. So terrible, terrible underwater,
Oh,
terrible. It's bad. It was like $45 for this. This was terrible. Now I'll say this was awesome. But keep in mind, the top part is waterproof. The bottom part is not. Keep in mind, you're not going to use this underwater for an hour where you need the extra storage that's in the bottom part. But
Right.
this worked amazing underwater. I put it on a gimbal because it's got a locking system on it here that opens up where you can pull it off. And I actually connected it to here and took it underwater. Man, I'm telling you, it is sweet. 4K, 60 frames per minute. It's beautiful. The video, everything on it. It's okay if I want to do an interview with you. But besides that, on this particular one, I don't know. This was like $199 is the Osmos. This was like 500 for that. It's worth. I feel like it's worth it for this part. And what I like about it is I got a motorcycle mount for my motorcycle, and I just lock them together and stick them on the motorcycle with this where it locks on and drive. The stabilization works really well on it. I'm really happy with it. But I like it because I can do that, or if I want to, it's actually got this that you wear under your shirt here, and then this part actually locks in place, and it's upside down, but it automatically, changes the
itself,
view.
yeah.
The magnet is strong. I mean, I'm surprised on how strong the magnet is for this, because this is like super lightweight, but it's got a good. So I don't feel bad about spending that much money for it because I can use it for so many things and put it in the water. This is probably going to be a giveaway one day. I'm sure the Pocket 2s have got a lot more in them than these have.
Yeah.
But for what I use it for and what I wanted for the water, I thought this was going to be my cure. But you got to put in a defogger stick to keep it from fogging up here. You got to put it in, make sure it's tight. It's easier just throw that on a tripod and go.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I can see that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to share my
And
screen here.
I think Michael from Fly Zone Drones actually put one of these on an FPV and flew it. So I know, Michael, you're in there. So
A lot of guys put that on the DJI FPV drone and fly it.
Yeah,
really,
yeah, that's a good camera comparison right there. Yep.
well, the first time that I saw Al told me, he said, Robbie, let's go. We're gonna go test out my FPV, and I didn't really know what it was. And we fly around downtown Richmond a lot. You get behind buildings sometimes, and you can lose a little signal. So here's Al flies over water under a bridge, and the drone's gone. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And he's like, whole new ball game. And it was. And I mean, I don't know where the drone went, but it came back.
Hey, Robbie, I was going to show Ron the snow we got here. Nothing compared to what you have. Here, this is the Air 2S. Remember, I was telling you I've been hoarding all my videos and not showing anybody. But here's the front coming through, and now you see the green up here. I mean, the blue. And what I'm going to do is just kind of show you here's the front that just came through right there. And this property that I'm going to right here is where I fly the FPV drone. This is one of my good friends, and that's his property, and that's where we fly. We have like a track, but that's what it looks like in the snow, guys. Pretty
Wow,
nice.
awesome, yeah.
And I always like how cars make all these cool tracks. You can see here's a UPS truck right there coming in for a delivery. And we all in our neighborhood is all this cul-de-sac, so there's never like a shortcut. You come to a dead end, so that's kind of nice that you're able to have that, and so that way you don't have a whole lot of traffic. Only the traffic you get through there is, what's coming to you. But yeah, that's what I wanted to show.
No, very cool. Wow.
This is just my neighborhood.
I was going to say, I thought I saw my sister's house.
Yeah.
Old house.
You could be. You can see this gentleman walking around his backyard taking pictures, and then you're probably going to see the UPS truck driver jump out with a package in his hand, and run to delivery. But yeah,
Very
I
good.
mean, and this is just there he goes. As a matter of fact, he's got a big package too. Come look at. But anyway,
Maybe it's a drone.
maybe it's a drone.
Hey,
Yeah.
did you see the bad news? Michael cracked the yeah, I think he meant LCD screen inside of his
Oh,
action too.
oh no, that's
Hey,
why
you
I
know what
wouldn't.
I
And
want to
that
know is, do
Oh
they have
crap.
a care pack for those? It's like they do the drones. Can you pay
yeah.
an
Yeah.
amount and something happens? Do they replace it? And do they
Yeah.
do it if you've got it on FPV? Michael, do you know about that?
I wonder what the
That'd be curious
contract.
to see if they did that.
And I
Yeah.
believe that's the camera he won at Spin Up.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry to see that happen. Yeah, that's no fun. No fun at all. So yeah, I mean, DJI Care sometimes is catch 22 because you have to pay for each incident. So at
Yeah,
least
some
that's how it
doesn't.
was for mine. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, Ron, I was telling the guys earlier the way it's set up over here is the Autel dealer told me that all the DG guys over here, all the DJI guys are so mad, the dealers, and it's like they bring stuff to your house when you buy it. So I did a lookup, and you can't even see the map in the country because there's so many dealers. So the Autel dealer told me tonight, he goes, they're all mad. And I'm like, why? And he said, because they hold the market here in Thailand. So what they told the people is after this particular date, we don't have any more dealers. We're going to open stores and the people will come to the stores. I guess they're tired of paying commissions. So I guess they're going to do like an Apple store, but for DJI, and you got to go to DJI to get the stuff. And all these dealers that have been selling and have built their business there, I think they're going to like throw them out the window and just use the store, which is a shame because there goes your customer service.
oh my
These are
gosh,
company
yeah.
stores.
They're going to change it. Well, a lot
Yeah.
of them, like even the Autel, there's one Autel dealer here that controls the whole country in the city of Bangkok near the airport. So everywhere in this country, he's kind of got to come in and out of that. So he's within range of me. If I buy it, he'll bring it to me. But he's like, I can bring it or I can mail it. And I was like, I want to make sure I get it this week. So I drove out there about an hour and a half in traffic to pick it up today. And we sat and ate and talked for about 2 hours just about what's going on with Autel. He is best friends with the president of Autel in China. So he has some really good insight.
You mean Maxwell that was on that was on
Now, Maxwell's only a general manager,
okay.
and he's in the US. This is the actual president that's in
Okay.
China
Okay.
that this one dealer in our country buys everything from. And he was just telling me some different stuff about, what Alltel's doing. And I was talking to him about some different stuff and issues that people have had with this. And he's like, tell them to relax. Everything's going to be fixed with firmware update. And he had probably 100 cases full of drones. But the way
Wow.
it works is I don't think he keeps a huge inventory to sell. I think most of those are orders where people have paid. But when I did get there, he told me, he said, do you want to buy the standard or do you want to get the premium pack with the extra batteries? And asked me what color and everything I wanted. And he brought it down. And of course, I opened it up to verify that it was in there. But it was so strange because he's like, we don't have a retail store here because of the virus. We don't go out. And he's the only dealer in the whole country. So
Wow.
but the problem is there's just not that many people. So he said he is really going to be pushing Autel in the country now and not, he wants people to get away from the DJI. So they have computer conferences and drone conferences. And he said they're going to have some this year as long as the COVID can kind of go away because it's kind of bad here now.
Right.
And he said when the time comes, he'll let me know and I can actually go there and actually see the people from Autel overseas from China and see some of the new products. Because I did get to see the big plane, the big dragonfish.
Dragonfish. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And that's more commercial use, right?
Yeah.
If I
Yeah. It's
remember right.
impressive.
Yeah.
It's impressive. I mean, I wasn't real impressed with this. Like I told Al, I'm just not a mini guy. But man, the camera on this is like a Harley Davidson. I mean, it's like, you got one. It's beefy. So I'm really eager to fly this thing after I do the firmware update. And I'm going to ask Marcus too and some other people that might have bought this, you got to charge everything on this. My controller was charged pretty good when I first did my firmware update. Honestly, it took like 35, 40 minutes to do the firmware. And I was like, I hope this thing doesn't like die and brick my drone. But it finished. So I'm curious to see what this did. When you did the firmware, when you bought your big one, did it take a long time to do?
I got mine. I've had mine. I'm going to say a year and a half, and so I can't actually remember, if it took a long time or not. And I know generally, the firmware updates, the ones you get now, like the last one I did, I would say it generally seems to take a little longer than the DJI firmware updates. I don't know how much I would say longer, but they do seem a little longer than the DJI.
Yeah.
Now,
So,
a lot of guys like Hot Rod in Daytona, they do it the old-fashioned way. They download a file from Autel's website, put it on an
The
SD
computer.
card, and then put it inside the drone and do it because they say then they don't have to worry about having an unreliable internet load up, and that makes perfect sense. But the reason I don't do it is I'm trying to show drones from the a user case. The average user wouldn't do that, so I want to show it the way the average user does it through the app.
that's a
Right.
good
I've seen
idea.
other people that have done that for this, and they've said delete it and re-download from the computer and put it on. But I'm like you, I want to do it directly off of the app itself. I like the app. I like the app because it talks to you. It tells you stuff. I'm not crazy about the phone because after switching over to smart controllers on my other drones, I love the smart controller because I can deploy fast. But I was really impressed with the remote and the software that's used for it because she talks to you. She tells you what to do,
Mhm.
and I like that.
Like having Alexa in your drone, huh?
Yeah, it is. It's like,
Oh,
with the
hey,
DJI, it tells
Terry.
you
Oh,
max
my phone
max
woke up.
altitude, or something like that. This like will tell you, so I like the controller. I like everything about it, but I think this is probably going to be a keeper.
I would say
And
so.
they're going to have a rough time at this price selling this drone. It does have a great image.
I
And if
tell
they're doing
you,
it for the images, I guess so, but $900, come on.
Hey, Robbie, quick question. Is the controller exactly the same for the Nano as it is for the Lite 2?
Let's find out. I think it is.
It looks the same.
yep.
Okay, same
Yep.
controller.
Same controller. Now,
Which
the
makes
Autel guy did tell me.
sense because DJI has kind of standardized towards that controller for many drones too. So it
Yeah.
saves
Yeah.
money if you use the same controller over and
Yeah.
The
over.
smart controller is going to work with the Lite series. I didn't ask him if it was going to work with the Nano, but I asked him. I said, I'd like to have a smart controller, and if I buy another drone, it would probably be a full size. Do you make a smart controller for this? And they said no, but they're going to do a firmware later where you can use it with this. So we'll wait and see. It's kind of like DJI using the Mini 2, the Air 2, and then Air 2S, and then up to the Mavic 3. Of course, there's an issue with those controllers, but
Yeah.
still, it'll all work its way out in the long run, I believe.
Yeah, it makes sense to leverage what you have. I mean, if you have the plastic, you got the gimbals, they're all the same. You're probably just going to flash, a special chip that gives it a personality. But
Yeah.
I was going to show you, I run this little USB fan right here to keep my stuff cool while I was updating.
Oh, nice.
wow.
Yeah, good
Well,
idea.
look, I was going to ask you, Ron, because we're running over on time, and I want to ask you before
Okay.
you go. Have you flown the Mavic 3?
Yes, I purchased the Mavic 3 shortly after it came out, and I have many flights under my belt with it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's a question I have. I saw a video, and I think I asked you about this on someone else's show or said something. You went out to the boardwalk and saw somebody flying. Remember where it showed Billy flying the drone?
Mm-hmm.
That was Mavic 3?
Yes, it was Billy was flying the Mavic 3 to the boardwalk, yeah.
How far did it fly?
Well, I mean, of course, I couldn't see it. I don't know any more than you because I didn't see the screen.
I just saw the video, and he cleared the boardwalk.
I think they said 10,000 feet one way. I think that's what they said. But again, I mean, I saw it take off, went out of sight, and I wasn't watching it the whole time. And then, of course, saw it come back and land. I mean, Billy has a video out on it. No, Ken put a video up and then it got taken down. Yeah. So, but I think that's what they said. I mean,
Yeah, there
so
a lot of these guys are doing really long range. Now he did the Mavic. Ken Herron did one where he was doing the Autel, and he flew it, and to him and another observer with the walkie-talkie. That's a long ways, and he was lucky that it landed in a cornfield that was cut, or he'd have been in trouble.
yeah. Well, I'm not sure whether the Autel has that. I think it has to find my drone, so he could have GPS his way to it, as long as the battery didn't die.
Yeah, and that's the thing though, because I think it force landed at 2%, but after he reviewed the video, when it started to land, he said for a little bit it was looking around trying to find a better place to land, and finally the battery gave out and it just went down.
Yeah.
So that's pretty smart that it knows enough to do that. So I'm impressed with the build feature on this. I
mean,
beat the game in this.
the build quality on this is very good too, so it doesn't surprise me that the light also has the same real rugged.
How is the quality of the image on that compared to your Mavic 3?
Well, I'm going to tell you that without any kind of official side by side testing, I rate the Mavic 3 better, but I rated the Evo 2 Pro better than the Mavic 2 Pro. And I mean, the Mavic 3 should be better. It's almost a 2-year newer drone, right? I mean, how can you, if you're making a flagship product, how can in 2 years, if you don't top your competition in 2-year time period, you might as well go out of business, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's say that with the Nano 2 Plus, the image quality, I see people, it's almost, they're shocked that it's better than Mini 2. Well, wait a minute here. This drone is it's a year newer, and it's almost twice as much money as the Mini 2. The camera better darn well be better.
Yeah, it better be.
You might as well go out of business. You can't make a better camera than a year-old drone, and you're charging twice as much for it.
I agree. I mean,
I want to see.
But I'll
answer
your question, Robbie. The Mavic 3 is better than the Evo 2 Pro, but not substantially. Not like, oh wow, this is night and day, whatever.
Right.
It's incrementally better. It has a 4/3 sensor, so there's more resolution in there, probably more dynamic range or whatever. And scientifically, it's probably more better than it is just by side. Looking at it with the naked eye, the footage.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not watching on a huge screen or a high def monitor.
Well, I asked Autel, what's going to be the drone, and he couldn't say a lot. They're tight-lipped. They don't want to say a lot because they don't want people to know. But they say that when the 3 comes out for Autel, that it's going to be. They say it's going to be better than the Mavic 3. And I said, that's big talk. And he said, it has to be. They have to make something better than what DJI has to make. So I'm really eager to see what that does and what the price point is, because these aren't compared to what that's going to be, and this is already almost $1,600.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, I mean, people complained that the Mavic 3 was too much money. Wait until the Autel Evo 2 Pro 3 comes out. It'll be more money than the Mavic 3.
I agree.
Right. Well, and will it come with only a smart controller, and are they putting that in there where they can keep the price high?
That's a good question. I would say no, because you want to, as a company, you want to kind of, after sale product, you want to have a product you can sell to somebody who's already bought your product. You know what I mean? So you want to keep the smart controller separately, because again, you want to upsell the customer after the base price or whatever.
Yeah.
You want to put the smart controller in there, then the customer's not coming back to upgrade it in a couple months or whatever.
And not only that, you have another product to sell when you have a controller. So it gives you more accessories, and so you have all this drag coming in with new products, and that's always important, because once you get that drag with the additional accessories, that's when really the products become a success.
That's where the real money gets made.
All right, man. I'm getting really hungry here, guys.
I'm almost done. On the Mavic 3, the Cinepack is 5,000. Is that right, with a smart controller?
I think it's almost 5,000 up or
because if you look at it, I bought the Flymore pack, so I spent like $3 for that, and then I turned around and bought the smart controller, which was like another $1,200-$1,300 for just a little bit more I could have upgraded that. Not that I needed it,
You
but
could have, yeah.
You would have had
you know,
extra batteries, and you would have had what else they give you? Oh, all the filters.
Well, he would have had the large internal memory built in,
That too.
yeah. And whether you want that or SD cards, personally, again, you would have had the ProRes video files.
True.
right.
So that gives you the more. It definitely gives you a lot of flexibility. Shift
Yeah.
left and right depending how you want it to
Yeah.
go.
I
And
built, I
Have you
built,
the
I
done
point.
built my own flyboard kit, Robbie. I just got the standard kit, bought some extra batteries, and got the smart controller or whatever. I didn't need the $350 case from DJI. There's a lot of things there.
I sold my case. I sold my controller because I didn't need it because I had the smart controller. But have you tried the master shots on the drone yet?
Yeah, well, I have a couple of videos and they're pretty popular on my channel. My drone, which seems to fly good in every way, when it does the master shots, it messes up. It's shaking. It's doing a bunch of crazy stuff. Now, other people have it,
Oh,
but
you better
a lot
watch
of
that,
people,
Ron.
a lot of people's works right or whatever. So,
Yeah.
I'm going to try doing, all the calibrations again, gimbal, IMU. I'm going to recalibrate everything before I try it again.
Yeah, if it doesn't work, send
It
it back.
swings
I'm
wide.
telling you, Ron, because I've had issues before with the Spark, and I sent it back, and the other one did
I
not
mean,
have it.
yeah, I mean, that definitely great advice, guys. But to tell you the truth, that master shot thing, whatever it's type thing. Let's stop making a video
It's
to
a
show
it's a
how it works. I'm
novelty.
never going to use
Yeah,
it again.
yeah, it's a
So
novelty because
yeah,
it's a
It
selling point.
swings.
yeah,
It swing wide. I tried it the other day for the first time above a temple. And it was like it did all the different options
yeah.
into one. And when it went to swing and it swang, I was like, there's a satellite antenna to the right. And
Oh
it was
boy.
swinging around. And luckily I passed it and I was like, okay, I'm good in clearance. It gets right above the temple and starts going down. And I'm like, it's gonna hit this building. I mean, it got so close. And then just before the way they do the drag and stuff on the top of the temples here. Just before it got to the top, it stopped, and I was like, I had my finger on the button to cancel the whole time. So anyway,
And let
look,
me
we've
ask you a
gone.
question: is the optical avoidance working during the master shots?
Uh,
That's a good
I
question,
don't know.
Ron. Because if
Yeah, I
if
don't
that
know.
antenna would have been in the way, would it avoid it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
I don't
good
know.
question.
I'll find out. I'll try it again, and I'll text you and let you know because
I mean, I did last time I did over a fishing pier down at the beach, so it was nothing for it to hit in the air unless it went real low to the ground. It didn't matter what it did. And when I tell you mine goes crazy, the drone doesn't go crazy. It's just the gimbal and the camera are going crazy. The drone's if you just look at the drone, it looks like it's flying okay, but when you look at the footage, it looks like I got an out of control FPV drone.
you can't see it on the controller, but when you put it on the computer, you can see. And that was the same issue with this. It looked fine on the screen, but when you put it on the computer and look at it, you can see that it's shaking.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, look, Ron, thank you for joining us tonight. I
Thanks
really
for having
appreciate
me
it.
on with you guys tonight. It was great being here and great seeing everybody out in the chat there. I see some of the great names you see on all the shows. Thanks for joining us tonight. So
Have a good night, Ron. It was a pleasure having you. Definitely reliving some of the old times. Awesome
great,
stuff.
great. Love to come back sometime.
All right.
Okay, Al, y'all stay warm and stay safe and stay away from this COVID, and we'll see y'all on the next show.
Thank
right.
you, guys.
Good night, guys.
Good night.